At least one Chicago team can get the job done today. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks post-game podcast. The Hawks go into Anaheim and skate away with a 4-2 win and a 3-2 record on their 5-game road trip. Welcome in. We appreciate you being with us here. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Teräväinen. Nate and Sarah are here running the show behind the scenes. Do us a favor if you enjoyed that. Sure you did. Hit that like button for us and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, like, subscribe, follow, review, all that great stuff. We'd really, really appreciate that. Lots of good to talk about in this one. Some not so good, but hey, a 4-2 win and a 3-2 road trip. Nothing but positivity on my end.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the numbers on Natural Stat Trick, and this is breaking my brain. But the Anaheim Ducks had 54 scoring chances to the Blackhawks 17 at all strengths.
That doesn't.
The Blackhawks were
right.
expected to get 2.69 goals tonight. The Ducks were expected to get 5.67.
Well, it sounds like a good time to introduce the 3 stars of the game and then the 4-star nominees. Number 3 star of the game, Seth Jones with the game winner. Brock McGinn had a goal for the Ducks. Who cares? And Taylor Hall with 2 assists and 4 shots. So here are your nominees, and think before you vote. Isaak Phillips with a goal and a shot. That's 100% shooting.
Good
and
for
2
him.
block shots. Congrats to Isaak Phillips. Arvid Soderblom stopped 37 of 39 Duck shots. And Connor Bedard had 3 assists, was a +2, 4 shots on goal, and 8 shot attempts. Those are your nominees for the 4-star of the game. Vote now, vote early, vote often, and we will reveal the winner towards the end of the show. But yeah, I mean, those numbers seem.
I'm gonna refresh.
Doesn't seem to match the eye test,
but yeah,
they certainly gave up more than they had, and Soderblom was awesome. He was phenomenal in this game.
He was. Yeah, this was a game that, there were a lot of chances in this game that I think my brain was trained to think like Soderblom's in net, this shot or this rebound is going in, because that's what we saw last year. And tonight he was solid. He's been solid all year, and tonight he finally gets rewarded with the first win of the season. And Darren Pang was talking about it during the game at multiple points of the game. Like, Soderblom was seeing the puck well, was squared up to it all night. Yeah, maybe a couple extra rebounds that you don't like, but he kept most to all of them out. You get the stupid goal with 4 seconds left. Okay, whatever. But I mean, he was fantastic tonight. I'm shocked he didn't get a 3-star honor for tonight's game. He gets my vote for 4-star. Like, he was the Ducks were pushing the entire game. Blackhawks made the most of their chances, but they don't get this win without Soderblom playing the way he did tonight.
For sure, he was excellent. 3 solid starts this season for Arvid. He'd be rewarded with a win, something he wasn't able to get in those first 2 starts. One of these days he's going to get one of them shutouts. He was so close.
Yeah.
It kind of sucked that first goal was like, oh, all those great saves he made, and that one goes in, and the last one, whatever. Who cares? Shouldn't even count. I don't know why the referee's calling stick penalties with a minute and a half to go in a 3-goal game, you loser.
Probably because,
just whatever. I don't even count that goal. He only gave up 1 in my world.
Yeah.
And that's the world I live in, so we're going to go with it. But, yeah, I mean, perfect win? No. But the Blackhawks are in no position where they need to be, well, we didn't dominate that game. Like, no, you got to get as many points as you can. You've got back-to-back wins, something this team only did 3 times all last year. You get a day off tomorrow, get some practice in, work on some of those things you need worked on, and then you got big game on Wednesday. The Red Wings coming in.
Yep.
And they're a team that's desperate for points and struggling at times, inconsistent. The Blackhawks can do something Wednesday that they didn't do at all last season. And that is a 3-game winning streak. So
500.
I know when the Iser plan comes to town, you got to watch out.
But I'm like, we'll get in and critique this game. There's lots of things to be critical of, and there's some things to give praise to. But the bottom line is they've won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
They've won 3 out of these 5, and could have, maybe should have won all 5 games. I don't know if they should have won all 5 games.
Could have,
but they could have won all 5 games. Like,
they had the opportunity.
This is exactly what most people, most of us here, most of us in the chat, this is the team we expected all off season.
Yeah.
Not a playoff team, but they're going to be competitive every night. They're going to lose a few 1-goal games. They're going to win a few 1-goal games. It's not a great team, but it's a team that is so much better than what we saw last season. And, some of these wins, some of these losses are going to be a little more frustrating when you're like, oh, damn it. Like, you're better than that. Win these games. This is a game last night, today. These are games they don't win last year.
Oh, 100%.
These are games they don't win the year before. Like, they're figuring out how to get it done. The things that they've been talking about, the veterans have been talking about in the locker room all season after these moral victories. We don't want this anymore. We got to figure out how to close out games. They figured out how to do it the last 2 nights, and just let it snowball. Carry the momentum. You've got some guys playing with a ton of confidence right now, and that needs to start trickling down to everybody, and it's starting to.
Well, let's get to some of the individual performances, because there were some good ones, and I think Connor Bedard is going to head into the locker room of this game and think of this game as a failure, because he had a couple of opportunities to put the puck in the net and didn't. 3 primary assists plus 2 4 shots on goal, and 8 total shot attempts. This is what we want to see from him, where he is shooting, putting the puck on net, being aggressive. If there's not maybe a perfect opportunity to take it anyway and try to put the puck in the net. We saw it last night in overtime, where Connor Bedard was sort of an F it, I'm going to do it myself kind of a mode. And we said we want to see that from him all the time. That needs to be his mindset all the time. Today he played really, really well. No, he did not get a goal, but had a breakaway opportunity. Great save.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have put it a little more to his right if given a chance to do it again, and he got frustrated and broke his stick. But if he plays games like this every night, and I'm just talking about the point output either, I'm talking about the mindset of putting the puck on net and being aggressive, he's going to keep ending up with these multi-point nights, and they're not all going to be assists.
Yeah, I think he wants to. If you come out of a game with 3 points, most players are going to say, "Yeah, I'll take that every night of my career. Thank you very much." But with Bedard, like you could tell, as much as he says, like, "Well, I'm not just a shooter," he still wants to score goals. Like the not being able to convert on the breakaway, showing the frustration, breaking his stick. You see it on the bench. Like he wants to himself score goals. But I think he's also a guy that can put that aside and say, hey, I did get 3 primary assists tonight. We won the game. Like, I think he will maybe individually feel a little frustrated that he didn't get that goal, but he was a contributor tonight. He was driving a lot of the offensive chances. He led the team in individual scoring chances created with 4 of them. Like you said, he had the 4 shots on goal. I think he's a guy that, even when he's not scoring goals, he has the ability to be a threat, either to distribute the puck at a high level or to be able to, facilitate his own offense and try and create his own scoring chances. So tonight's a night that like you'd love to see him bury one, but still like he's a threat out there, and he's a guy that can beat you in many different ways. So I hope I hope he continues the mentality of like, I want to be the guy that is, driving the offense and creating a lot of shots and eventually finishing them, but also like be happy that like, you still had a huge impact on the game offensively, and was just a factor every time he touched the ice.
Yeah, when your talented goal scorer is not scoring goals, but still factoring in on goals,
yeah,
that's what you want. Like, he's not finding the back of the net, but 3 primary assists tonight. That tells me that while we're seeing him get frustrated that the pucks aren't going in the net, he's still engaged. Like, he's still doing what he's supposed to do, which is encouraging. Where sometimes, especially with younger players, when if you're a dynamic goal scorer and you're not putting the puck in the back of the net, sometimes you get so just focused on that everything else of your game starts to hurt. And we're not seeing that with Bedard.
Right.
The 3 assists tonight, he's back checking, he's engaged defensively. So while we see him get frustrated when he doesn't bury that breakaway, he's still engaged away from the puck and setting up his teammates. And that's what you want. You want, okay, I'm not scoring goals right now, but what else can I do to help this team win? And he's doing all those other things.
100%. And another guy who we were a little bit hard on to start the season, and kind of had an under the radar game today, but when you watch really like the last 3 or 4 games that Tyler Bertuzzi has played for the Hawks, you see what Kyle Davidson saw when he made that signing, and no goals to show for it in this game, but just an absolute force out there. Only 2 shots on goal. Again, you look at the line and there's not a lot going on, but he's making plays in front. He's causing screens. He's the one who, on the Isaak Phillips goal, he just got right in front of the goalie, like, yep.
Well, and Phillips even said that when he talked to Darren Pang in the first intermission.
Yeah.
Panger asked him, well, what got you to, activate and get in the play? And he says, well, the goalie couldn't see me. I couldn't see the goalie, so I knew he couldn't see me, so I just let her rip.
Yeah.
That's good instinctual hockey.
That's how you do it. Yeah. And on net.
Yes.
Good start. Good start. Good
really
start.
Good shot by Isaak Phillips. More of that. That's going to keep you in the lineup while Alec Martinez is out. Bertuzzi tonight from our friends at Hockey Stat Cards, the providers of the formerly Blue Lions, now blue, green, purple, and magenta. Tyler Bertuzzi's second highest colored line tonight. So
best contract Kyle Davidson's ever given out.
Yeah, you were a big fan of that from day one.
Banging the Tyler Bertuzzi drum even before they signed him.
Sure were.
Love that guy.
I remember that. I remember that show.
My favorite.
It was last night.
Yeah, I mean that's what you signed him for. Hopefully some of the points start coming too, but he's got 4 goals. The assists will come, but he's it's not he's totally his game. He's more of a disruptor than a playmaker.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that like he doesn't necessarily need to be on the score sheet every night to make a big impact on the game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that he drew the penalty just by being Tyler Bertuzzi. He got cross-checked in the face and drew a penalty. Was that the penalty that they ended up, the Jones goal, the game-winning goal was scored on? I don't remember for sure which penalty that was.
That's correct.
So there you go.
It was Lacombe put the cross-check on Bertuzzi's face, the moneymaker.
Jones scored the goal after that, which turned out to be the game winner. So it's not necessarily always going to be just points and assists and shots that Bertuzzi gives you to help you win a game. It's drawing penalties. It's screens in front of the net. It's, just playing physical, lifting sticks, just getting in the way. It's what he does really well, and he's been fantastic ever since they got back from that first road trip. The last 8 games, he's been great.
All right, we gotta hit the break zone here. We come back, we're gonna get to your super chats.
It's the last time I won Who's Your Hawk.
We gotta talk about Taylor Hall a little bit too, who I think had his best game as a Hawk. But first, Greg and Mario are gonna type out our friends at ComEd.
Oh yeah. speaking of getting things going with Tyler Bertuzzi, ComEd can get things going for businesses by helping them save money by becoming more energy efficient. Greg, did you know that?
No. I vaguely remember having this conversation.
He keeps telling you.
About 24 hours ago. Yeah.
But, I was distracted by all this exciting Blackhawks hockey that I forgot. So why don't you enlighten me?
Yeah, well, it's called the Energy Efficiency Program, and it can help find up to 35% in savings for business owners.
Wow.
Wowie zowie.
So what does a business have to do to save up to 35%?
Well, you just got to sign up for a free facility assessment by going to comed.com/biz.
I will never understand why more businesses aren't doing that.
I, too, will never understand that. Maybe it's because they forgot the website. It's so simple. What's it called, Greg?
I remember because I say it all the time. Comed.com/biz. Comed.com/biz. Comed.com/biz.
Yeah, I think that should do it. People should be able to remember it after that.
Biz.
Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change, and actual savings will vary by customers' energy usage and rate. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law.
Biz.
.biz. Yes, /biz.
/biz.
Damn it, see, now we do it again.
So, from the top. Hey, guys, did you know?
Hey, you should also know by now, because you're probably from the Chicagoland area, about Empire Today, where you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. You should know that by now. It is the best place to get new flooring. So they're going to have people trying to be like them, but guess what? No one can do it. Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, or speed. Go with the absolute best. Empire's philosophy is to help you find what you need and not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What they leave out of their selection is just as important as what they put in. Their product team exhaustively combs through thousands of product samples every year to find the perfect styles. And once you find, those 2 or 3 or 4 that you really like, open up their virtual floor designer and you'll see exactly how they look in your space, so you're making an informed decision. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 discount when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. All right, let's get to some of the super chats we have. I know we have a couple. Giggities with a $2 super chat.
Jiggities.
2-0-0 without Brody, boys. I'm just saying.
That's not incorrect. Yeah. We'll see.
We'll pass that stat on to Luke Richardson.
Yeah.
And see what he does with it.
Here's for your fancy stats.
Marky Mapo with a $10 super chat says, "Evening, boys. I've officially switched to full-time hockey mode after the Bears game," in quotes. "Quick observation, the broadcast with Ball and Panger is 1,000 times better than last year. So good. Yeah, the broadcast is really outstanding if you can see it." And Kyle with a $5 super chat just says, "From Kyle Hecker." Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
I'm guessing there was probably a comment underneath that.
Perhaps.
I don't know.
And Olivier
Possibly.
with a $7 super chat, Canadian.
So it's like $2.
Says, "Sorry to ask this over here, but do you plan a CHGO event for the Winter Classic, tailgate or something? Thank you. Yes, there will be something around the Winter Classic. Not sure exactly on those details yet.
Might include chatting with guys from a famous Boston Bruins podcast too.
Bruin/Oilers podcast.
Yeah, apparently they're Red Wing.
Slash,
they'll whore themselves
Sabres.
out to any team that gives them a free jersey.
That's true.
Yeah, slash.
They've got a lot of them. That's for damn sure. So yeah, look for that. More info as things approach. But got a lot of teams here. We got to keep celebrating the Bears.
Who?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, just so everyone knows, you can go to bed happy tonight because the Blackhawks won.
That's right. Like I said, one team has done their job. All right, Taylor Hall, really, really solid game from him. Can we? I know we like hyperbole in broadcasting, but is this his best game as a Hawk? 2 assists, +1, 4 shots on goal, and was just really generating a ton of offense. Almost had another assist as he was cutting into the net, put a pass right to Nick Foligno, who at the last second got his stick tied up. It was an empty net. had Foligno gotten a stick on it. Taylor Hall has looked better lately, but really good, really engaged, and really fast in this game.
Yeah, I would say, because he only had 10 of them last year.
And I don't remember.
And I don't remember much of them. But I would say this was his best performance of this season, probably of being a Blackhawk. And I think not only was it, getting the 2 points, but it was, actually every time he had the puck on his stick, it looked like, it was with purpose. There were times last year that I do remember, and again, it could have, I'm sure part of it was he was still battling through the injuries that he was dealing with coming into the season. But it just seemed like last year there wasn't much like zip or purpose when he was like playing with possession of the puck. Tonight it seemed like he was, like you were saying, like engaged in the game. It really seemed like every time he had the puck on his stick, like there were things happening. It was, he was driving the play tonight, which is something that you want to see out of Taylor Hall. That's the kind of Taylor Hall that I think when the Blackhawks brought him in, they wanted to see if getting an elevated role with the Blackhawks more than he was with the Bruins would potentially tap back into that MVP type of Taylor Hall performances that he was putting up a few years ago. And I'm not saying he was an MVP Taylor Hall tonight, but it was closer to that than the previous version of Taylor Hall that we've only seen here in Chicago for a handful of games. So yeah, I think he's been stepping up. It's been great to see. I believe him when he says like he's feeling his best that he has in a while after having the surgery and the rehab all through last off season. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for more of these kinds of games moving forward as he probably builds that confidence.
Yeah, he had back-to-back games with goals last season against Florida and New Jersey. And then the next game after that was that game at Tampa where he originally hurt himself. And if you remember, he tried to come back. Like he missed 2 games and tried to come back and then either gave up the ghost on that one or re-injured it even more. But yeah, this was a good game. The funny thing to me is the last couple post-game shows, the critique of Hall in the chat has been, he's so selfish, he never passes. Well, he showed you guys tonight. I'm going to do nothing but
take
pass
that,
tonight.
jerks.
Here's 2 assists. Get off my jockstrap. That's what he said to you guys in the chat. But Hall has been frustrating at times because you see it, especially in person. You see that he's got those speed bursts that they come out of nowhere almost.
Yeah,
where they're just like, oh, he's kind of just skating. He's kind of, oh my god, look at that, he's gone. Like, and he knows where to be on the ice
because of those small femurs he has.
Yes, and it's just you feel like there's more there from him, and we saw a bit more of that tonight. Just would like to see that on a more consistent basis. And just that line has worked really well. It just it's weird that at whatever line you put Nick Foligno on, they seem to click.
It really clicks, doesn't it?
It just I don't know.
Him and Jason Dickinson have that skill.
They just you put Foligno in between Bertuzzi and Hall, and all of a sudden they're playing their best hockey of the year. Bedard and Teräväinen played their best hockey of the year with Nick Foligno on their line. I mean, it could be just an odd coincidence, but I don't think it is. So good job by those guys. Looking forward to that line. I really think with Hall playing with guys like Bertuzzi and Foligno, 2 guys that are just going to muck it up and go for rebounds and screen the goalie, Hall could have a nice little hot streak coming where he gets goals in like 3 out of 5 games and stuff, because
that'd be great.
Yeah,
he's gonna have plenty of space in the offensive zone with Bertuzzi and Foligno on his line.
We also need to continue our conversation about Ryan Donato, who now has 7 points in his last 5 games, and 5 goals in his last 5 games.
I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's going to be the first star of the week for the NHL. Well, he's going to be one of the 3 stars of the week.
Yeah,
it kind of has to be, right?
I mean,
he's been phenomenal.
He's been a point per game guy for the last week.
and a 3-point performance in Colorado. That gets people's attention, and it's funny. You look at the ice time, the Dallas game, 11:58, the Colorado game, 11:59, 13:27 against the Sharks, and then 19:13 against the Kings. And then tonight, Ryan Donato back down to 13:46, which is kind of crazy, but there was some more power play time and everything mixed in there. But he is earning the trust. It's again a guy who didn't start the season in the lineup.
Yeah, he was a healthy scratch for game 1, which, we spent some time before the season started wondering, will they trade Ryan Donato? Are they looking for, the Kings were one of the team we even mentioned because they'd had the injury to Kaliev and they were looking for a center to begin with anyway. So, I don't know. Donato is one of those interesting guys. What happens with him this season? If he keeps playing well, I'm not expecting him to have, 2 points a night from here to the end of the season.
Hater.
I didn't say he wasn't going to do it. I'm just saying I'm not expecting it. There's a difference. It's possible, yes. But
shooting 35% isn't sustainable.
Well, considering that's already dropped 14% from last night. But he's an interesting guy. He's a guy that his trade value is going up and up and up. Yeah. Do you try to do that? You try and move him at the deadline? It's also going to depend on where this team is at that point. Or do you say, hey, you want to come back next year? I don't know. He could be playing himself into another contract with this team.
I think, we kind of had a discussion about Taylor Hall during the game in the same kind of sense. With Donato, it's gravy that he's playing this way because you don't expect it from him. Do you expect it to continue all the way to end of February?
No,
I don't think so. So I think with Donato, it's just you kind of take the good out of him playing like this now and see how it progresses throughout the rest of the season. And if this team plays the way that we were expecting, they're not going to be in a playoff position by the time the trade deadline rolls around. So I think you try and strike while the iron is hot on the guys on expiring contracts because Taylor Hall, if he's playing well, that's a guy that a lot of contending teams would benefit from. If Donato's playing this way, he's a guy that playoff teams would love to have because of his versatility, and if he's playing on a hot streak, those are the kind of guys you want to push towards the end of the season. So I think there's still better value for them at the deadline if they're playing at this level for this team rather than come on back for another year or 2 years or whatnot. And if Donato sticks around beyond the trade deadline and he's playing like this, are the Blackhawks in a position to say, here's a 5-year, $5 million per year contract thing?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So
no.
If you don't trade him, then maybe if he's on this kind of hot streak throughout the entire season, he probably hits free agency and is some team may mistakenly give him way too much money and way too much term, and then you lose him for nothing.
He makes $2 million. I don't think it would take $5 million to get him back.
If he scores 40 goals, okay, but he's not going to do that.
Well, he's got what, seven through 11 games this year. His career high is 16.
But he's again shooting 35%.
Sure, but even if that,
49% yesterday,
even over the season, if that knocks down to his career average of 10%, right? He's already off to a hot start. He's still probably on pace to break his career high.
Yeah, you would
exactly. Start. He's going to pot
right.
20.
So I'll go back to one of your favorite guys, Andreas Athanasiou, 20-goal season, got an extension, and now is getting scratched. Do you want to run that risk?
No, because Ryan Donato is not Andreas Athanasiou.
But I'm saying, would you run the risk of we reward a guy for a 20-goal season because he was on a hot streak, and then you give him an extension, and then you find out, it was just a 1 year
Donato
I feel like they're like those are different players.
Yeah, because Donato brings more than just
I know.
the 20 goals. The 20 goals is going to be gravy on top of the.
I also think the work ethic situation is a little more. I'm not trying to crap on Anthony.
Well, here's the thing. I will. Here's the thing.
I just don't have any evidence that he doesn't work hard.
Look at the players. Back to the Donato extension before we crap on other people. Look at the guys that aren't going to be here next year. Craig Smith,
right?
Pat Maroon, Taylor Hall. Those guys are all on expired. Anthony Ciu, expiring deals. You got to fill those. Are you going to fill all those roster spots with rookies?
Look, I've got room for a 28-year-old Ryan Donato. I've got room for on my team.
If he wants another 2-year deal for 3.5,
done.
Fine. And be exactly that's obviously Luke likes him, trusts him. He's gotten faster this year.
And that's the thing he worked on in the offseason.
It's noticeable, 100%. And it's part of the reason he's having this success.
All right, we've got to hit the break zone. More on Ryan Donato and a whole bunch more to come here on CHGO Blackhawks. But we want to remind you about our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. So if you're new or if you're a vet, you know you can walk in there and find the things you need because Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your life. They're your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. They have expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. They've got great brands. Two of my favorites, Good News and Mindy's. I use Good News every night to sleep.
That's good news.
It is good news. Love it. And they've got their new limited time Island Vibes, which is available in disposable vapes, 510 carts, and live resin gummies. It's great for next level staycations. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including, listen to this, 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois MedCard holders.
And if you are excited about this Blackhawks win streak,
swing,
and you want to see the Blackhawks play live in person at the United Center, well, then we recommend. No, that was last night. We recommend using our pals at Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting your tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Right now, you can get into Wednesday's game against the Red Wings for $40. Did you miss out on the takeover tickets that have sold out and still want to hang out at that game? You can get tickets from $32. Look at these deals. Next Tuesday, or actually 2 weeks from Tuesday, the 19th, the rematch, Ducks, Blackhawks, $17 tickets.
Come on.
Wow. Thursday, the 21st, you can see the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers for as low as $23. Wow. That's over at Game Times. Plus, Game Time through December 2nd is giving you guys an awesome deal on Winter Classic tickets. Mm-hmm. You can get exclusive discount on Game Time, 10% on bleachers, and up to 25% off on home plate area tickets only at Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO, not SNGO, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Game time.
Ooh. Daylight savings time.
It's that too. We have a bunch of people watching and not a lot of people liking. We need to fix that problem. The ratios are not making sense. Please, please, please take 2 seconds and smash that like button. We're going to do a good old What Chaos style like spike. In 3, 2, 1, spike that like button.
Spike.
We need to get over, 200 should be an easy hit. I'm going 250. I'm setting it at 250 tonight. Celebrate the Hawks win. A Chicago team came through, and they deserve your likes.
Your likes and your love.
That's right. And we got a super chat here from Thomas. Says, can I just say that it's nice to see Teräväinen get a goal? I can't see that anymore. I've been rooting for him to do big things since he returned does he go back to their top line? I don't see now. We're getting to the point too where people want to mess with stuff now. Don't change anything.
Quit changing the lines. Do you want to change the lines?
No, just let it. Everyone's doing okay. Like, let's just let it be.
You're not going to change it.
We're not even going to change the set. Like,
exactly. Right. Yeah, Teuvo will get his chance on the top line again. These things are interchangeable. They're going to happen. But at this point, why? Don't keep Reichel on the fourth line. Keep the lines as they are. They're working. You're getting results.
Aside from Alec Martinez being ready to go for Wednesday night's game, roll the same lineup that you had the last 2 nights out there and put Mrazek in. Like, keep it going. Like, it's produced 2 victories, and yeah, I'm happy with the way that this group, as it has been set up for these 2 games, has played. Now, the game yesterday wasn't great for 2.5 periods, but fought back, got the win. Game tonight was a good effort, solid effort. You got rewarded for the way that you played. A lot of the things that we said in the pregame happened. So that was good. Like, no reason to shake it up. And yeah, Teräväinen got the goal tonight. That was a great shot. It was on the power play, so it wasn't like it was a 5-on-5 goal or anything like that, he was playing with the top guys when it happened. But I roll with it. Roll with what got you your first win streak of the year.
I get you you want to reward. Teuvo had a good goal, 2 one-timers on the power play tonight, went in the back, and then that is so strange how that happens. I know you want to reward him for, having a goal and a bounce back game, but what has Ryan Donato done to be taken off that line? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Back-to-back wins.
I mean, he's
not many
the
coaches
hottest player that this team
in the
has
world. Not many coaches are going to change lines after back-to-back wins. You're just gonna, Luke Richards has been saying, I'm trying to find out what's working. This is working. Don't screw it.
It's working. Keep it. Another $2 super chat from Tyler, continuing our Ryan Donato conversation. Has Donato played his way to an extension or trade?
We certainly has played his way into the discussion more than Tyler Johnson ever did. I know that.
Yeah, definitely.
Listen, I don't know, like as we're just talking about, I don't know if you can declare that one way or the other. But it's definitely an interesting thing to keep track on this season. But again, if he's playing this well for the rest of the year and someone calls you up on deadline day and say, how about a 2nd-round pick for Ryan Donato? It's very hard to say no to that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I
just wanted, there should be a little bit of separation though in the conversation, because when we're talking about, Craig Smith, who is 35, we're talking about Pat Maroon, who's 36. Ryan Donato is only 28. And some of these guys, like, they just take longer to find their way. He was a 2nd-round pick, so it's not like he was a guy who came in with super high expectations. He's bounced all over the league. He's been on what? Hawks are his 4th team? 5th team?
Boston, Seattle, Minnesota.
Yeah,
San
Chicago,
Jose, Chicago.
Yeah.
5th team.
He's bounced around, hasn't gotten, really full season looks until he joined the Hawks. A cracking game of a full season look too, their first year. There might be more to his game. So I think that's what Kyle Davidson makes the big bucks for, is to determine, like, okay, who is going to be part of this thing and who's not. And we've talked a lot about, establishing the culture of winning, and you don't want guys to see, young guys see players that perform and do everything they're asked to do just shipped away for draft picks. I think they get the business aspect of it when you're talking about Maroon and Smith and Taylor Hall and Alec Martinez and those sort of guys. But a guy like Donato, who could be a really nice piece as this team starts to turn the corner and you start talking about playoffs, like we've said over and over again, when the Hawks are good again, it's not going to be just all Blackhawks draft picks from the last 3 or 4 years.
Right.
All 12 forwards, all 6 defense, both goalies. It's just not going to be that way. You need some veteran guys. And a lot of times, like, a guy like Donato that can play center, can play both wings, can score, can defend, can penalty kill, does everything you want. There's a lot of value in that. And I also think just maybe the message it sends of, hey, look, we're keeping this guy around because he's earned it. Mm-hmm. And Landon Slaggert or whoever else will find their spot here when the time comes, there's no need to rush anybody. But I'm not saying sign him for a max deal and max term. But if he'll take 2 years to play here for $3 million, $3.5 million, I would keep him around while some of your other younger prospects develop. Why not? He's also great in the locker room. Everybody loves talking to him. Like there's not a lot of reasons unless you're going to get blown away.
You're going to need more role-playing vets after this year. It's not like next year the roster is just going to be Connor Bedard, Nick Foligno, Jason Dickinson, Bertuzzi, Teuvo, and this year's Rockford IceHawks. You're still going to need more guys like Donato next year. And if why try and get Ryan Donato on the free agents market if you've already got him here? Like, do what you did with Dickinson and Foligno last year and come at him in season with an extension if he's earned it. This is as great as it's been, and the Ryan Donato love in the chat is just going crazy right now. And it's
Did
great.
You guys know he's Zach Hyman?
That's what I hear.
Okay. All right.
I don't know
Rich
if that
and
was
spoiled.
tongue in cheek or not, but if he's 2 weeks from now, we could all be like, "Oh, this guy's a bum. Why is he still on this team?" Like, so let's see where we are. Come January and February when those trade talks really start heating up. See where this team is. See where Donato is. And right now, let's just enjoy this the best streak of his career right now. Let's worry about the trade deadline and the offseason when we get there. Right now, let's just enjoy that Ryan Donato has helped the Blackhawks win back-to-back games and can go for 3 in a row for the first time in 28 years.
Yeah. Our buddy Lebowski says pump the brakes on Donato. He's a guy. I think we've seen guys on this team before. I think he's a little more than a guy. Don't forget last year, he had 12 goals, 18. He had 30 points last year.
He had the first and the last
on
goal
a bad team. Like, he's not. To say he could be to evolve into a 20-goal scorer is not out of the question. And again, he doesn't strike me as a guy who's looking to get rich or make a lot of money. I think a guy like Ryan Donato was looking for some effing security because he's never had it in his NHL career. So there's value to that for guys. He's raising a family now. If his kids want to play hockey, his dad played hockey, he plays hockey. I'm assuming his kids will want to too. This is a great city to get your kids started playing hockey. Like, there's a lot of reasons to stay here. I think we often would say this a lot. Like, we get in the dangerous territory of thinking about this as a video game. There's personalities involved. There's people involved. And again, I think when guys see players like Ryan Donato rewarded, it does a lot for morale. I really think stuff like that matters. You remember when the Hawks traded Brandon Hagel? Jonathan Toews was like, well, if that guy can't play here, who can? He was pissed.
Right. Yeah.
And I get why. And, at the time, the return was big. And from a rebuild standpoint, it made sense. But for the players, he was mad about that. Like, it was like, why would you trade this guy? Why would you trade Brandon Hagel? Look at everything he's done, everything we've asked. He's grown into this great player. Now we're getting rid of him. Jonathan Toews was livid about that. And now, I'm not saying Ryan Donato will have the same result, but it's just, I think it is meaningful to reward guys that are role players because it shows that it's not going to be just about Bedard and these top level, big level free agents. If I do my job here, if I do the things I'm asked to do, I'm going to have security and I'm going to have a role here. I think that matters.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
I'm writing in Donato on my ballot on
there you go.
Tuesday.
Well, Ted 808's breaking some news here that Donato is now the running mate for Kamala Harris. So that's big.
Good for him.
It's big.
Oh, nice.
Well, how's he supposed to play on Wednesday when he's going to be out? Never mind.
He'll multitask.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Jason Dickinson and Nick Foligno and Peter Mrazek when they were getting extensions for the way that they were playing and being rewarded for that. I agree. I mean, there is something to be said for that. I think like Greg said, I think it's great to enjoy how Ryan Donato is playing right now. Blackhawks are benefiting from it. Let's have a more a longer stretch of time to see how he plays. Let's revisit this post Winter Classic and see what the
if he's still the team leader
is.
in goals at the Winter Classic, then
yeah.
it's really time that
look. I know, and like I know that, and I'm not advocating for him to make a ton of money, or I'm not saying they have to do it right now. And if he doesn't continue to play this way, which he won't, of course he won't. He is still a guy.
Why are you a hater, Jay?
What?
Why are you a hater now?
No, I'm just being realistic now. He is a guy that is incredibly versatile, does what you ask him to do, is dependable in his role, and can, in a pinch, fill in on the top 6. Those guys they don't grow on trees. So I'm just saying, just don't be so quick to trade him just because someone calls with a 4th round pick. That's all I'm saying. Like I think I don't want Kyle Davidson to constantly be in that mindset of gotta get draft assets all the time. Sometimes there's value right in front of your face.
Yeah.
So that's my point. That's my bigger point. Anyway, this is not the Ryan Donato show.
Yes, it is.
We got to talk about Arvid Soderblom, man.
Who? I was too busy watching Ryan Donato.
You were giving us the stats pregame about Lucas Dostal. I never know how to say his name. Dostal. Whatever.
Dostal.
Be better. You lost the game. And how incredible his numbers were. Soderblom came into this game with good numbers. They haven't updated them because why would NHL.com update stats ever? But he was outstanding again in this game, and just he wants to stay here. He wants to stay in the NHL. And oh no, they did update it. So 2.35 goals against, a .926 save percentage in 3 games for Soderblom.
That's
pretty good.
That's the best 3-game stretch of his NHL career. There's no doubt about that. Love seeing this for Arvid. We've gone from, oh my God, Arvid Soderblom is starting, to, hey, can we start another one before we send him down?
Right.
He's a quiet guy, but he's a good kid, and he works hard, and he goes about his business, and very unassuming, but like you feel good for him, because after that just brutal year last year, and he was playing behind a brutal team, but he didn't do himself any favors last year.
Yeah.
It got away from him early in the year, and then he became his biggest enemy. He's got that confidence back in the summertime. He's worked his butt off, and he's been rewarded. I'm ecstatic they finally got him the win. Deserve that win in Winnipeg, but you're not beating many teams, especially the Winnipeg Jets, with just 1 goal.
Right.
The Buffalo game, he played good, but again, the Hawks couldn't draw even in that game, so they got him a lead. He played with the lead, was really good tonight. I mean, at one point in this game, the Ducks had 11 shots to the Hawks 1.
Yeah,
they had dominated the first half of the game, and then the Hawks killed off that penalty. And then
everything
all of
changed,
a sudden, boom, they get the goal. Then they get the second goal, and then they but Ducks, to their credit tonight, kept swarming. They kept coming. They never gave up at any point in that game, even when they fell down 3-0. You knew they were going to come back in the third period.
They flocked.
That's what Ducks do.
Mm-hmm.
They
fly together.
They flocked the hell out of them, and but he stood tall, and good job, Soderblom. Well deserved. And I saw where Nate stopped the poll. Nicely done.
Yeah, for the rough season, 2 seasons really that he has had here in Chicago. It's great to see that in a year where he was not expected to be here. He's had 3 really good games, and the assumption is still, once Brossoit is ready to go, he'll take Soderblom's spot, and Arvid will head down to Rockford and kind of just wait until he's needed again up here. I think that's still the assumption of the goalie rotation, but I think he can take a lot of positives and build up a lot of confidence the way that he's played these 3 games that he's had the opportunity to start. And yeah, I mean, we still don't have a timeline on Brossoit, as we were talking about in the pregame show. So maybe there is an opportunity that he's still around for another week or 2 and gets another game or 2. Probably at least 1 with the back-to-back Detroit and Dallas situation. So hopefully he continues playing that way and continues to build on the start of this year, and it's great for him.
Darren Pang had some interesting observations about the way he was playing, just saying like how much more calm he looked in the net. It wasn't so oversliding or overreacting to shots. And I think that's what we saw a lot from him is
very scrambly last year.
He's massive.
Yeah.
And when a guy who's that big is that scrambly, if you're kicking post to post, side to side, you're opening up a massive 5-hole.
Yeah.
And every shooter knows that about you. And the other interesting thing I thought Panger pointed out was as the game was going on, you started seeing the Ducks miss the net a lot more because they were trying to be pinpoint accurate with their shooting because they were realizing as the game was going on, like, okay, routine shots are not going to get past this guy tonight. Yeah. So we've got to be a little more cute, a little more perfect. Look at just the waning seconds of the game. They did end up scoring on the power play, but they're down 3 and they're passing around trying to get a perfect shot.
It looked like the Blackhawks a few nights ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like that. That's something that Panger brings really strong is the goalie analysis of the things that he's seeing that maybe we wouldn't notice of, yeah, you're right. Like, the Ducks suddenly are missing because early on it was like shot. We were trying to doom, 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 hitting the pads, and play was blown dead often because Soderblom would freeze the puck. As the game went on, you heard a lot more glass getting hit and boards getting hit with pucks as the Ducks are trying to be perfect. I really like that, and I also think too, the team plays differently when they have a belief in their goalie.
Yep,
and they flat out tell you that. And now through 3 games, one, you're like, all right, pretty good first game. Second game, okay, good. Played good again. Now with 3, it's a trend.
Mm-hmm.
And he has earned the trust of his teammates. And as the game went on, you saw them be a little more confident, a little more willing to take a risk offensively. It's all connected. All of it's connected. So good for him. Obviously worked his ass off this offseason and got the message because he's been outstanding in his 3 games.
Absolutely, and good for him. It's easy to root for a guy like that, especially coming off the season he had last year. And when Brossoit is ready to go, he'll go back down to Rockford, and he's going to help. He's going to help the Ice Hogs win a bunch of games this year too. And
great.
Getting some praise for Jimmy Waite in the chat as he should. He puts in a lot of work with these guys, and I guess that's who can be head coach after you guys fire Luke Richardson. We can just make Jimmy Waite.
Hey, if Patrick Waugh can do it, Jimmy Waite can do it.
Yeah.
What's Chris Terreri up to these days?
That's a good question.
Bring back Jeff Hackett.
There you go.
If he can't hack it, no.
Great helmet. Great helmet. Yeah, he's been good, and I'm just. It's cool to see these guys like Donato and Soderblom who specifically worked on something in the offseason and will tell you such to have it pay off and work for them. I love that part of the game because the human element is like we talk about all the time. Like we're in the locker room several times a week when they're in town and you get to see these guys' personalities and you don't get to know them, but it's a little different from just turning on the game and turning off the game. Right. You kind of see the looks on their faces and the struggles they go through. And Lebowski 5 said everyone wanted to get rid of Soderblom last year. Yes. Based on the evidence we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was bad.
If he wasn't on this team to start the year, I don't think anyone would have batted an eye.
No.
I think you'd just been like, yeah, makes sense. No. He wasn't good.
There were a lot of people in the first preseason game of the year when I tweeted out Arvid Soderblom is starting. Every reply was, "Why? This guy sucks. What are we doing?" Even though it's preseason, this is when you play guys like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy sucked, blah, blah. Now it's like, hey, why is Mrazek playing so much? We need Soderblom in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing great in these first 3 games of the season, better than we saw at pretty much any point last year or the year before that.
All right, if you give him another start here, are you doing it against Detroit or against Dallas?
Dallas.
Oh, that's a good question. Because Mrazek is going to have a bunch of rest going into the Detroit game.
Give him Dallas.
Sure. All right. Yeah.
I wonder if you think like Wings. There's a better chance of beating Detroit, right? Like I would imagine that they would think of it this way.
You almost beat Dallas the last time.
Yeah, but you almost did, but they did basically whoop your ass for 60 minutes. The score was close.
Right.
And they battled back at the end, but that was...
And they faced Mrazek in that game, so give them the other goalie they haven't seen yet.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying, is you play your better goalie against a lesser team and hopefully assure that victory over Detroit.
Plus, you want the Mrazek revenge game against the Red Wings.
Against one of the teams that gave up on him.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I would have Mrazek against Detroit if that was my my choice, and then throw Soderblom in against Dallas and see what happens.
I'm down with that. All right. I have to relinquish tonight. We have a new Hoosier Hawk winner.
Money, please. Thank you.
Bedard finally does something.
Yeah. Hey, well, you know what? That's the beauty of being in last place. You get first pick.
There you go.
Well, I'm going to know what that's like for the next few games.
Big night. Oh, yeah.
Man, you really closed ground. I mean, you just mentioned this last night.
Yeah.
Someone's going to go off and have like a 15-point night. 13.5 for Mario tonight with Bedard. He is a half point behind me. I have 52, 51.5 for Mario, and then way in the back there.
I got to fire my coach.
Clearly.
And never pick Jason Dickinson again.
Yeah.
I had to do a double take when I was tabulating. I was like 13.5. Really?
Yeah, that is
a big night.
according to my numbers here, that is the tied for the second biggest performance by any player this season. The other 13,
the regular season?
Yes, as far as Hoosier Hawk.
Okay.
13.5 is the second highest score for one player. You also had the other 13.5 guy, Seth Jones in Edmonton.
Oh, yeah.
But that didn't matter that night because that's when I had Teuvo Teräväinen.
Was that the night that we all had in the
we
teens?
Had 16, 11, and 13.5 that night.
Yeah.
16 is the highest individual score this season. And that's the only reason I'm anywhere close still in this competition because I'm looking
at a long season.
It is. And I'm looking forward to chipping back now that I get first pick.
All right, let's reveal the winner of the 4-star of the game. Your nominees today were Isaak Phillips, who scored his first goal of the year, Arvid Soderblom, who stopped 37 of 39 Duck shots, and Connor Bedard, who had 3 assists, a +2, 4 shots, and 8 shot attempts. Nate, the winner is Arvid Soderblom. And I'm assuming he had 69% of the vote.
69%.
Since you pointed it out.
Did you do that on purpose, or is that just timing?
I just saw it at 70, and I killed it, and it must have gone down by like.
Because I saw it in the chat that it was closed at 69%. And I was like, nicely done. That's when you call a race. Quick shout out to our diehard Hoosier Hawk. 6 people tied, all having Bedard tonight.
Nice.
Actually 7 people. D. Bresson, Genesis, Holly. That's back-to-back wins for Holly. Hypno Hawk,
wow.
King Tanner, Luke Zaman, and Will the Scout 7 all had Bedard tonight, and they were all winners in our Discord diehard.
Well, if they're diehards, they're always winners in our book.
That's right. And if you want to become a diehard, thank you, Mario. Now is the time. Our limited time offer, that limit is approaching.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been waiting to jump on our $48 for the year for your diehard membership, actually the time to do it was 2 days ago because you could have gotten on our takeover, which is already sold out. But the second best time is right now. So jump on it, allchgo.com. Navigate over to that Die Hard tab, and you will see all the info you need about signing up. So why do you want to sign up? Well, you get a free CHGO shirt or hat upon sign up. You get access to all of our great written content, the Rebuild Report, Morning Chirps, Blackhawks Beat, everything we do written-wise, access to our members-only Discord, so you'll have access on our mailbag shows, which I believe we're doing tomorrow. Mailbag Monday?
Yeah.
Mailbag Monday show tomorrow at 2:30. So you get
guest
first priority on that.
Well, at least have a mailbag show.
Yes.
20% off all of our merch. 20% off all of our events and takeovers. Are you getting the message here? It is a great value, especially at this introductory rate of $48. That's $4 a month. Get one fewer crappy cup of coffee per month and help support what we do here and get yourself a free shirt along the way. We would really appreciate and love to have you along for this ride with us here at CHGO Sports. So yeah, mailbag tomorrow. We will send out an appeal for questions tweet in the morning. Look for that because we have to keep that membership tweet pinned, so it'll be in our feed somewhere. I'll send it out in the morning and reply to that. Or again, if you're a diehard, go into that mailbag tab in the Blackhawks area and submit your question there, and we'll do our best to get to all of them.
Or you could email us if you're old school.
Yeah, blackhawks@allchgo.com is an email account that
Still
exists.
waiting for that first email.
Yeah, it's much easier to do it on the Discord or the Twitter. So do that, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.